Have you ever stopped to think if the exact moment of your birth carries a hidden code that influences your relationship with money? We're not talking about luck or fate, but about mathematical and symbolic patterns that have spanned centuries. Patterns that some of the brightest minds in history believed were the key to understanding human prosperity. Pythagoras, for example, didn't see numbers merely as measures. He believed they held a soul, a frequency, a mission. And among these missions, the pursuit of abundance was one of the most powerful. Today, thousands of people around the world quietly follow the same pattern. They were born on certain days, carry specific numbers, and accumulate wealth with a consistency that seems more than coincidence. Is there really a connection between the day you were born and your ability to attract money? And more importantly, do you also have this number hidden in your birth? This video will show you something that probably no one has ever explained to you so directly. How your life path number can deeply influence your relationship with money, success, and even the choices you make daily without realizing it. This isn't empty mysticism. It's a tradition that began in Babylon, passed through the Greek Empire, and has reached modern times, branching into both astrology and modern numerology. But first, understand this. It's not about fortune-telling. It's about patterns, about reading symbols, and about how the simple act of understanding your number can change the way you see reality and how reality begins to respond to you. If you feel like you're constantly swimming against the current, that opportunities slip through your fingers, or that no matter how hard you try, prosperity feels out of reach, maybe the answer lies in the numbers that have been with you since the very first second of your existence. And no, you don't need to believe. You just need to be willing to see clearly. Let's decode together what your birth date has to say about your financial journey. If you want to transform your relationship with money and discover how your birth might be directly linked to your prosperity, subscribe to the channel now. This content is made for those who seek more than ready-made answers, for those who want to understand the invisible codes that govern their financial path. And if you're here, that already says a lot about what you're ready to discover. Write in the comments, "My prosperity is inevitable." This simple statement could be your first step to redefining your relationship with money, not as something that comes from outside, but as something that is born with you. And if you know someone who has always been good with money, or the complete opposite, share this video. Maybe the answer lies exactly in a number they don't know yet. Because when you understand who you are numerically, everything starts to make more sense. The idea that numbers hold hidden meanings is older than any organized religion. In Babylon, over 4,000 years ago, astronomers were already connecting birth dates with significant events and behavioral patterns. For them, the sky and numbers were one language, and they knew that whoever understood this language would have an advantage in life. In ancient Greece, Pythagoras, yes, the same one you learned about in school for the triangle formula, dedicated his life to studying numbers as expressions of the human soul. He believed that everything in the universe could be reduced to numerical relationships, and that these relationships had direct implications on a person's character, destiny, and energy. It wasn't magic, it was mathematics with a purpose. Pythagoras founded a school where he taught that each number has a specific vibration. For him, the number of your birth wasn't just a date on the calendar, it was an energetic signature, a kind of password that defines how you move through the world, your strength, your weakness, your opportunities, and yes, your connection to wealth. Over the centuries, this knowledge was absorbed by different cultures. The Egyptians used numbers in their spiritual initiation rituals. Jewish Kabbalists saw them as keys to deciphering the soul's purpose. Even great figures of modern science like Nikola Tesla spoke about the importance of numerical patterns in human behavior. And contemporary science doesn't completely dismiss this view either. Carl Jung's analytical psychology, for example, recognizes archetypes and symbols as unconscious forces that shape our decisions. Jung said that humans are not guided solely by logic, but by symbols they recognize emotionally, even without realizing it. Numerology fits perfectly at that intersection where the logic of numbers meets the symbolism of personal experience. It doesn't predict the future, but it reveals trends. It exposes patterns, and when you understand yours, it's like playing a game with the manual in your hands. That's exactly what we're about to do. Reveal the number that has always been with you and what it can tell you about your financial potential. It all starts with one number, the life path number. It's considered the core of numerology, like the energetic DNA of who you are, and contrary to what you might think, you can calculate it yourself. It's simple. Just add all the digits of your birth date until you reduce it to a single number, except for the so-called master numbers, 11, 22, and 33. Here's a practical example. Imagine someone born on July 14th, 1993. First, we separate the numbers. Day, 1 plus 4 equals 5. Month, 0 plus 7 equals 7. Year, 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 3 equals 22. Now, we add it all together. 5 day plus 7 month plus 22 year equals 34. And we add again. 3 plus 4 equals 7. In this case, this person's life path number is 7. Simple, direct, and highly revealing. This number carries a set of characteristics, challenges, and opportunities. And when it comes to wealth, some of these numbers resonate more strongly with the energy of money, whether through natural leadership, strategic intelligence, or the ability to generate impact. That's why understanding your number isn't an esoteric trick. It's a map, a starting point, to align who you are with what you want to achieve. Now that you know how to calculate yours, write it down. It will be essential for what comes next. Because in the next parts, we'll show which of these numbers have a direct connection to financial success and how you can activate these qualities in your daily life. Some numbers naturally carry an energetic frequency geared toward achievement, personal power, and prosperity. And it's no coincidence that many successful people share the same life path numbers. Numbers 1, 8, and 9 are especially significant in this regard. Starting with 1, it represents the archetype of the pioneer. People with this number have a natural tendency toward leadership, initiative, and autonomy. They don't wait for permission. They create opportunities. Elon Musk, for example, has a strong influence of the number 1 in his numerology. This is the number of focused action, of the visionary mind that sees paths where others see obstacles. The 8 is perhaps the number most directly associated with money. Not by chance, it's known as the number of material power. People with an 8 have a strong connection to ambition, management, structure, and tangible results. They are born strategists. They know how to turn ideas into enterprises and have a sharp sense of value, both of themselves and of the resources they generate. And the 9th? It might surprise you. It's the number of wisdom, altruism, and collective impact. At first glance, it doesn't seem linked to wealth. But think of great social leaders, conscious entrepreneurs, or people who grow rich through causes bigger than themselves. The 9 has a magnetic force. It attracts resources when aligned with a higher purpose. People with this number thrive when they serve, and the universe responds with abundance. Now stop for a second and think, is one of these numbers yours? Or maybe someone you know who has always had a special talent for making money flow. Notice how numerology doesn't predict wealth, but reveals paths. It shows you where your dormant potential lies. And when you recognize that frequency, you start acting more consciously, making decisions that align with who you truly are. That changes everything. And if your number isn't 1, 8, or 9, don't worry. Every number has its own way of connecting to prosperity. The key is understanding how to activate that energy in your daily life. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. Analyze one by one the main life path numbers and show how each can unlock their personal route to abundance. Now that you know how to calculate your life path number, let's get to what really matters, the true meaning of each number and how it relates to money, success, and practical life opportunities. Take your number and see if these characteristics resonate with what you've already experienced or with what you can still activate within yourself. Life path. Number 1, the initiator. If your number is 1, you were probably born on days like the 1st, 10th, 19th, or 28th. People with this number have a natural entrepreneurial energy. They are independent, assertive, and tend to stand out in environments where they can lead or innovate. The 1 attracts prosperity when following its own path. It doesn't thrive in controlled environments or where it must submit to someone else's routine. Its power lies in initiative. But beware, too much individualism can turn into isolation. The challenge is to learn to collaborate without losing autonomy. Your key to wealth. Create, innovate, lead. Life path. Number 2, the diplomat. Those born on the 2nd, 11th, 20th, or 29th may carry the number 2. This is the number of sensitivity, mediation, and emotional intelligence. People with this profile thrive in areas involving relationships, care, art, or where balance is needed. While not directly linked to money, the 2 has great potential to attract abundance through partnerships and connections. Intuition is strong, and if well used, it can turn into financial wisdom. Your key to wealth: deep connections and strategic alliances. Life path. Number 3, the communicator. Dates like the 3rd, 12th, 21st, and 30th reveal the number 3. This is the number of expression, creativity, and inspiration. People with a 3 shine when they use words, art, or charisma to make an impact. They attract opportunities through their presence alone. They thrive in fields like communication, marketing, entertainment, and education. But be careful of scattering energy. The challenge for a 3 is to focus. Wealth comes when inspiration turns into consistent action. Your key to wealth: communicate with purpose. Life path number 4, the builder. Those with a 4 are born on days like the 4th, 13th, 22nd, or 31st. And this is the number of work, organization, and solid foundations. These people are practical, disciplined, and loyal. They might not be the first to get rich, but when they do, it's stable and lasting. The 4 prospers through structure, routine, and planning. It builds wealth that endures even if the journey seems slower. And that's an advantage. Your key to wealth: methodical persistence and long-term vision. Life path number 5, the explorer. Dates like the 5th, 14th, or 23rd point to number 5. This is the number of freedom, versatility, and adventure. People with this number can't stand monotony and need constant movement. They attract wealth when following unconventional paths: innovation, technology, travel, multiple income streams. But the risk is getting lost in too many possibilities. The key is to channel energy into creating a sustainable flow. Your key to wealth: freedom with direction. Life path number 6, the caregiver. If you were born on the 6th, 15th, or 24th, your number might be 6. This is the number of love, responsibility, and service. People with this number shine in areas like caregiving, education, healthcare, or people management. They can attract prosperity by serving with excellence, as long as they learn to care for themselves with the same dedication they offer others. The challenge is not to lose themselves in the process. Your key to wealth: serve without self-sacrifice. Life path number 7, the analyst. Dates like the 7th, 16th, and 25th indicate number 7. These are introspective people, deep thinkers, seekers of truth. They thrive in research, science, technology, spirituality, or market strategy fields. They're great with money when they trust their intuition. Rationality helps, but the 7 needs to learn to act, not just think. Your key to wealth: applied wisdom. Life path number 8, the strategist. If your number is 8, you were likely born on the 8th, 17th, or 26th. This is the number of material achievement, command, and authority. People with an 8 are built to handle money, power, and major responsibilities. They know how to multiply resources and have a long-term vision. But the challenge is maintaining emotional balance. An 8 can lose everything if ego takes over. Your key to wealth: balance between ambition and awareness. Life path number 9. The humanitarian. Dates like the 9th, 18th, or 27th correspond to number 9. This number carries a collective mission. These are people who thrive by helping the world. And often, the more they give, the more they receive. The secret of the 9 lies in intention. When they act with purpose, abundance flows. But when they act out of lack or guilt, everything gets stuck. Your key to wealth: purpose that creates value. Master numbers: 11, 22, and 33. These numbers should not be reduced. They are rare, intense, and require a high level of awareness. Those who carry them are born with a deep spiritual mission, and when aligned, they can generate large-scale impact and wealth. Did you identify with your number? Have you noticed patterns you've already experienced, or that you can activate now? In the next few minutes, we'll talk about something essential: the care you need to take to avoid turning numerology into an emotional trap. Numerology can reveal a lot about who you are, but it's not a shortcut to wealth. No number guarantees success. No date carries magical power by itself. Here's one of the most common mistakes: using these numbers as an excuse for what's not working. Oh, my number isn't 8. That's why I'm not good with money. I'm a number 2, so I'll never be a leader. That's not how it works. Numerology shows tendencies, not sentences. It points out qualities you can develop and challenges you need to face. And often, true growth comes when you work outside your comfort zone. Another important point: master numbers like 11, 22, and 33 are often romanticized. People think they're special just because they have these numbers. But what few mention is that the higher the number, the greater life's demands, more responsibility, a higher requirement for emotional maturity. There is no mission without action, and there is no prosperity without structure. So, when you discover your number, don't limit yourself to it. Expand from it. Use it as a mirror, not a frame. Numerology is a symbolic language. It's up to you to interpret and act. Another key caution: avoid the comparison trap. It doesn't matter if your friend is an 8 and already owns 3 businesses while you, a 6, are still finding your place. Every number has its time, its logic, its way of growing. Comparing is disrespecting your own rhythm. And finally, remember, wealth isn't just about money. It's about a sense of completeness. It's about living in alignment with what you truly value. If your number points you toward a path, walk it. But don't expect the path to walk for you. Knowing your number is just the beginning of something bigger. But here's a truth no one usually tells you: information alone doesn't transform. It only becomes real power when you put it into motion. Numerology shows you the frequency that vibrates within you. But how you nurture that frequency every day determines whether you'll expand or block your prosperity. Imagine your number as a radio station. It's always broadcasting 24/7. But if you don't tune in properly, the sound comes out distorted, and you live a muted version of your true potential. Next, you'll discover how to fine-tune that frequency with simple but powerful actions. And the more you apply these micro behaviors, the more your subconscious will start to respond, reprogramming your sense of worthiness, wealth, and personal fulfillment. Yes, this is when your number starts working in your favor, not as destiny, but as leverage. Number 1, the initiation ritual. Every day, start something, anything, a task, a rough idea, an important conversation. Number 1 vibrates through action, and action fuels identity. When you act, you internally confirm that you are someone who leads your own life. This triggers identity reinforcement. Your brain automatically starts seeking ways to validate this new version of you. And don't forget, one attracts opportunities when it leads. Be the first to raise your hand, to make the proposal, to take the risk. The world listens to those who speak with intention. Number 2, the power of subtle connection. Every day, truly listen to someone without interrupting, without thinking about your response. The two grows through emotional connection. What seems subtle actually triggers unconscious reciprocity. When you listen deeply, you build influence, and influential people prosper. Also, create small self-care rituals. The two tends to self-neglect, but when you value yourself, others do too, including financially. Number 3, expression is wealth. Every day, express yourself in some way. Write, record, draw, post. Number 3 needs to keep creative energy flowing. When that energy is blocked, it turns into anxiety, self-sabotage, and stagnation. Expression activates the principle of emotional flow, and when you share something genuine, you build a bridge between yourself and others. And bridges create opportunities. Number 4, mastery of the concrete. Establish a micro-routine, something simple, but something you commit to every day. This activates the principle of internal consistency, where your brain starts to believe that you are reliable, even when it comes to handling money. That quiet confidence you build within yourself begins to reflect outward. You attract trust, credit, and stability. Number 5, directed freedom. Choose one small calculated risk each week. Something that breaks your routine, a new route, a new idea, a difficult conversation. Number 5 needs movement, but movement without direction leads to distraction. When you start to explore with intention, you trigger productive adventure, and that creates real motivation, not empty restlessness. Number 6, care without draining yourself. Every day take care of someone and yourself in equal measure. This rebalances the unconscious pattern of the 6 to give until exhausted. When you care for yourself, you silently send a message of self-worth, and people notice. They treat you differently. Opportunities show up in new ways. Number 7, intuition as a tool. Set aside 10 minutes of intentional silence every day. It could be meditation, reflection, or simply turning off your phone. This calms the analytical mind and activates the subconscious creative mode, the space where the best business ideas, financial decisions, and life insights tend to emerge. Number 8, visible goals. Write down a small financial goal every day and visualize yourself achieving it. This activates your brain's reticular activating system, helping you filter and recognize opportunities that previously went unnoticed. You begin to act like someone who already possesses wealth, and this generates abundant behavior patterns even before tangible results appear. Number 9, give wisely. Help someone, but with structure. Set a time, a value, a limit. The 9th thrives when making an impact. But if they give without boundaries, they drain their vital energy. When you give consciously, you trigger compassionate authority. You become a reference point. And references attract followers, clients, partners, and open doors. And most importantly, when you repeat these small actions, your brain starts to associate them with pleasure and identity. This is called anticipatory reward. You begin to enjoy moving toward your prosperity. What once felt like effort turns into natural momentum. That's the difference between someone who just understands numerology and someone who lives numerology. In the end, your birth number doesn't determine who you will be, but it reveals a lot about who you can become if you're willing to look within and act with intention. Numerology isn't about waiting. It's about understanding. It's not about predicting. It's about choosing with greater awareness. Your number can reveal patterns that have always been there, silent and repetitive. Cycles of scarcity, self-sabotage, or perhaps even a potential you've ignored. And when you name it, you gain power. Power to break patterns, to open paths, to build a different relationship with money, based on who you truly are, not who you were convinced to be. Prosperity doesn't come from ready-made formulas. It comes from alignment between your essence and your actions. And if this video helped you take that first step toward awareness, it has already fulfilled its purpose. Now, I want to hear from you. What's your number? Did you identify with it? What financial pattern have you noticed repeating in your life? Leave a comment below. Your experience could help others recognize themselves too. And if this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this video with someone who needs to understand why certain things always seem to just happen to them. Remember the phrase we shared at the beginning? My prosperity is inevitable. Repeat it with presence. Write it down. Affirm it. Feel it. Because understanding your number is just the beginning. The rest depends on how you choose to use it from today forward.